Welcome to Wife Secrets channel. We hope you will have fun with us. Enjoy watching. I have never even thought about having a moment with my bulldog before I was feeling tired. Wanted to just lie down for a short nap. First, let me describe myself. I'm 44 years old. Average B***** size. Light-colored hair, hazel eyes, thin waist. Anyway, I have a large bulldog. Alexander, a mix between Black Lab and Arthur, thin waist. Anyway, I have a large bulldog, a mix between Black Lab and Arthur. The snow outside gently swirled, covering the world in a blanket of white. But inside, the only thing that seemed to cover me was the chill in my heart. Christmas was just a week away, but I could barely feel the festive spirit. The tree stood half-decorated, but none of it mattered anymore. Liam was always gone, his mind consumed by work and I was left behind. I watched as snowflakes caught in the soft glow of the streetlight outside. It was beautiful, like something from a storybook, but none of it made me feel less alone. Liam hadn't been home in days, not really. His calls were quick, his messages just as fleeting. The space between us had grown so wide. I wondered if I'd ever be able to bridge it again. Alexander wagged his tail happily as he nudged a toy toward my feet. I bent down and scratched behind his ears, feeling a pang of sadness at how loyal he was. He deserved more than I could offer. I glanced over at the Christmas tree, its lights flickering weakly. The ornaments, mostly sentimental, sat scattered across the table. I hadn't been able to finish it. The thought of decorating alone felt like a task I couldn't face. Liam and I used to do it together, laughing at how we always managed to get the tinsel tangled, fighting over which ornaments went where. It used to be our thing. Now it was just mine. I picked up the Christmas pet show flyer, which had been lying on the coffee table for days. It was a silly thing to think about, but maybe it could be a distraction, a way to feel something different, to have something real to focus on instead of the hollow space in my C*******. I stared at the bright red flyer. Alexander could do it. Why not? I shrugged to myself. Maybe it would bring some excitement into our lives. I could do it. Alexander and I together. The first training session was strange, awkward. I had no idea what I was doing, but Alexander seemed to enjoy it. And then there was Michael. Alexander was completely changed after meeting him. I felt a huge difference in him, like he wasn't a bulldog anymore. There was something else in his eyes, a warmth that I hadn't seen in so long. It made me feel seen not just as a wife or someone's partner, but as a person. And that was the beginning of it. It was dangerous. I knew it. I'd catch myself wondering if Liam would notice, if he even cares anymore. But I couldn't help myself. Alexander had a way of making me feel alive again. I remember the first time I saw Michael leaning over to pet Alexander, his voice calm and gentle. It was the way he spoke to the bulldog, the way he treated him like more than just a pet. That got my attention. He wasn't like anyone I had met before. "You've got a good boy here," he said, smiling at Alexander as he circled him with ease. "We can teach him a few tricks, but I think he's a quick learner, just needs some confidence." Michael notices something unusual between me and Alexander. Each session was different. Michael's energy was contagious. He made everything feel so effortless, and in those moments with him, I almost forgot about everything else. He made me laugh with silly jokes, and every now and then his hand would brush mine as we both tried to guide Alexander through a trick, and I felt that electric pull every time. One evening after Alexander had nailed a particularly tricky trick, Michael asked how about a coffee. I hesitated. I wasn't sure why it felt so different with him, but it did. Was it harmless? It felt harmless. But I knew it wasn't. Something inside me tugged, warning me to be careful. But how he changed Alexander made me say yes. The cafe was warm, the air thick, with the smell of cinnamon and nutmeg. It was everything I needed in that moment, soft, comforting and real. Michael spoke about his childhood, his passion for animals, his dreams of opening a sanctuary. He asked me about my own dreams, but the truth was I hadn't really thought about them in so long. After that day I was tired, so I just decided to stretch out on the couch for a little bit. I was wearing just a short t-shirt and panties. I was having a hard time getting comfortable and kept rolling over from side to side until I finally just got on my back and laid there that way. Finally I was able to doze off. I felt something next to me open my eyes. It was Alexander trying to cuddle up beside me. Or that's what I thought, so I slid over to make room for him. He had his face by my thighs and the rest of his body down the rest of the way down my legs. He laid his face across my legs and I dozed back off as I was asleep. I could feel my bulldog breathing on my leg, actually between my legs, because his face was situated on top of my leg. It was kind of weird but felt good at the same time as I laid there on my back asleep but aware. I just let myself relax more and more. I've never felt my bulldog breathing over my black hole before, and that's pretty much what he was doing, and normally I would have pushed his face away. But it honestly felt really good and I didn't see any harm in it, so I didn't do anything about it. I did actually open my legs a little wider. I don't know why, but I did. I think I even got a little wet, but still harmless. His face was laying there across the top of my legs. He was breathing so heavy. God, it felt so good feeling the warmth of his breath across my panties. I wasn't fully asleep obviously, but very relaxed. I didn't want to move and make him get up. I just laid there, letting him breathe onto my panties, getting wetter and wetter, thinking, oh my God, this is so weird, but I can't move. Feels too good. He woke up, adjusted his body a little bit, then sniffed it, put his nose on it and kept sniffing, then licked the outside of it a little. I panicked, pushed his face away and he stopped. I told him to lay back down, and I closed my eyes again. I thought to myself, wow, this kinda went a little too far, but it won't happen again. I let myself relax again and drifted back off to sleep, or tried to. I couldn't stop thinking about how good it felt. Well, I wanted to feel his warm breath hovering over my panties. Again. I spread my legs again, nudged his face back over my legs and just laid there, hoping he'd smell it again and react. He didn't at first, so I just closed my eyes and turned my head to the side and tried to forget that any of this just happened. Next thing I knew, my bulldog was shoving his face into my legs, sniffing and licking again. I didn't push him away this time, I finished several times. Then I pushed him away and lay down back trying to sleep. But Alexander didn't finish yet. Suddenly I felt something on my back. Alexander started hitting me. It was too painful, but I enjoyed it very much. And then he filled me with his gum, leaving me with my overthinking. Next morning I woke up to the smell of pancakes. It was strange, waking up to something that wasn't the cold silence of an empty house. I walked into the kitchen and froze. There was Liam flipping pancakes, looking like he hadn't been up all night working. Good morning, he said, turning around to face me. I blinked, unsure of what to say. What's going on? He chuckled, though it was a nervous, almost sheepish laugh. I've been an idiot. I've been so focused on work. I didn't realize how much I was hurting you. I could feel my throat tighten, a mix of relief and frustration building up. It's not that simple, I said, my voice low. He reached out to me, his hands warm as he held mine. I know, but I want to try, Sarah. Please let me try. We can start over one day at a time. I looked at him, really looked at him for the first time in what felt like forever. I saw the man I fell in love with. I saw the person I wanted to be with. Christmas Eve arrived and something inside me shifted. There was no grand gesture, no magical moment, but there was something real, a chance. Liam had promised he would be there for me. He joined me at the pet show, and when Alexander performed his tricks flawlessly, Liam's face lit up in genuine pride. It was a small moment, but it felt like the first one in a long time that we shared after the show. As we sat by the fire exchanging small gifts, I handed Ran a box. Inside was a picture of the three of us. Alexander in the middle. It was taken right after the pet show when Liam had been so proud of Alexander. I want this, I said softly, my voice trembling. I want us together. Liam pulled me close, his arms wrapping around me. So do I. He whispered. The snow outside glistened under the Christmas lights, and for the first time in months I felt warm. I realized then that love wasn't about perfection. It was about showing up again and again. It was about working through the hard times and fighting for what really mattered. I wasn't sure where things would go from here, but I knew that for the first time in a long while, I was willing to try. I appreciate your visit to my channel dedicated to love stories. I encourage you to subscribe and give it a thumbs up as it serves as great motivation for me to create new content. Enjoy watching.